Good evening and welcome everybody to another edition of Steve's Wrestling Ramble. As I said earlier, this week in my other videos, I'm trying something different, trying without headset, trying to see, hear the feedback from people, if I sound better, if it's, because I know with the headset sometimes I did have a little audio problem, but just wanted to test it out for a week in the 4 videos I've done, plus an extra one that I did for a contest. But the videos here on my channel for this week I've done without headsets with my podcast. And I did a Scream Queens review, my NFL podcast talking Packers with Steve as well, and then I also have um, a video that I did actually that wasn't live through Google Hangouts. That was for ESPN First Take, with, as I called it, Steve's Take on Colin Kaepernick and his situation. So, well, everybody, welcome to check those out. Welcome to subscribe to my channel. And let's welcome first the co-host, the smartest man in the room, I guess you can say, Mark Ramble TV. How you doing this evening?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Yeah. And let's welcome our subscriber with the mostest, our guest for the evening, Palmer J. Simmons. How you doing?
What's up?
What's going on, man?
I'm doing good. Chilling.
As we go live, and I do apologize to my guest and co-host, along with everybody else, for starting a little late. I had other things going on here where I live, but as I came back and started setting up for my episode, I heard some breaking news in the WWE world.
Oh, I never heard it.
Mickie James is going to be coming back to World Wrestling Entertainment and going to be facing Asuka.
Yep.
NXT TakeOver Toronto. So before we get into Raw, SmackDown, No Mercy, all the other awesome stuff, let's talk about our breaking news of the evening, which for me literally was breaking to me 2 minutes ago. So first, Palmer, what are your thoughts hearing this now here live of Mickie James returning to WWE?
Well, I'm just now hearing it, but I haven't seen her wrestle since like 5 years ago or 6.
Yeah.
So, hopefully she dominate the women's division and get up there with Sasha Banks and Charlotte.
Palmer, do you see Mickie going to the main roster? Do you think they're just going to have her specifically in NXT to help put over the young talent there?
Well, I say she be at NXT for like 5 months and then she goes to the main roster.
I can see that.
And Mr. Ramble, Mark Ramble, what are your thoughts on the breaking news?
Well, when I heard it, I was like, I was surprised. I was hoping maybe she would have came to like the main roster at first, but I could see why she ended up being in NXT. Maybe she's trying to bring over the young talent. Hopefully, she does a good job at it. Hopefully, she stays at WWE for a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a while, like Palmer said, since we saw her. Last time I saw her was in TNA, and from there, I don't know where she went.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I see her being in NXT for at least half a year. Like Palmer said, I can see that, and then eventually making her way to the main roster. I see her being in SmackDown. SmackDown needs somebody like her. Somebody that could compete with Becky.
Yeah, that was going to be a hotspot question to you guys. Which brand do you think she should be part of if she does go to the main roster? So I guess I'll ask you, Palmer, which brand do you think would be best, in your opinion, for Mickie James to go to if she does go to the main roster at some point?
Well, SmackDown, the women's division at SmackDown need a little more push. All right, so the Raw division, they dominated over SmackDown. So I hope she goes to SmackDown.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree there too. I'd probably go with SmackDown Live. Put her over there on SmackDown Live in the division there. I don't know if I put her. I went right away, hot shot her to a title match or anything. Not like how AJ Styles hot shotted. I mean, when he debuted in the company, he debuted at the Royal Rumble. I mean, what a great way to be in the company. I was worried they were going to have him in NXT for a short time and then put him on the main roster. But with his pedigree and credentials outside of WWE, warranted him for him to debut at the Royal Rumble, and then him being now the WWE World Champion within under a year of being in the company is pretty awesome for him. But I don't see the same thing for Mickie James. I do see her maybe going to the main roster. maybe win the SmackDown Live Women's title, maybe. But if anything, if she does win it, I see it just as a transitional period for short term as SmackDown Live Women's Champion. Going from there, because I think if she goes to Raw, she'd be, lost in the mix.
Yeah,
is what I'm trying to say. Lost in the mix on the Raw brand. Because now you're building up Nia Jax, her dominance and everything. She'll be, on the radar to be maybe not the next, but at least in contention to be the next Raw Women's Champion. Along with the battle now with Bayley, Sasha Banks already in Charlotte, the Queen Bee of WWE in the women's division to me.
Yeah.
And then makes her over on Raw. I would make sure to see that it would make sense to have Mickie James on SmackDown. Wow.
Wait, Steve, let me say something.
Okay.
If Mickie James go to Raw, then she wouldn't get that much attention. So she gotta have to go to SmackDown.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I was saying. Is you just be lost in the mix over on Raw with a plethora of superstars. I mean, heck, if Paige had her head on straight and she was in WWE still, she'd be one of the other ones. That Mickie James would have to try to climb over. In the chain of command, I guess you can speak, so to speak, there on Raw for the women's division. Just would be too much. That's why part of me thinks and hopes that Summer Rae, they have a storyline or a situation where her quote unquote contract runs out on Raw and she goes over to SmackDown Live. So I think she'd be more beneficial for Summer Rae there, and if they actually maybe change her gimmick or change her up a little bit, maybe she actually takes it seriously as well. That she may actually could be in the running on the line to be SmackDown Live Women's Champion at some point. Who knows? Now we don't want to give out titles like participation awards, but to everybody. But I still think that she would have a better shot and be more deserving if Summer Rae, that I'm speaking about, for Summer Rae to be over on SmackDown Live. But I just wanted to bring that up here at the top of the hour, at the top of the show, because like I said, I just found out coming back to my computer and setting up for the episode that Mickie James is coming back. I heard rumors, dirt sheets and everything, and those you take with a grain of salt. I mean, I've been hearing dirt sheet news about Victoria coming back, and so that would be kind of cool to have Victoria back in.
That would be interesting.
Out of all the superstars, I was just going to ask, and I'll ask you first, Palmer, since you're just about to talk. Out of all the women superstars that are still out there that could come back to WWE, who would you most want to see back in the WWE that hasn't been back yet?
Say that question one more time.
Out of the female wrestlers that are a part of other promotions that were formerly with WWE, because I know there's a plethora of them, who would you want to see back in the WWE that we haven't yet already seen come back to WWE? Is there anyone that you can think of that you might want to see back?
Sable.
Well, if I had to be honest, I would probably say Gail Kim.
Wait, did you say Gail Kim? Okay, I can see that.
Who would you want to see back, Mark?
Are you talking just overall or just?
Yeah, overall, just who's like on the top of your head, like who's the number one person that hasn't come back yet that you want back?
It definitely has to be Trish Stratus. I mean, her or Lita. It's just those two, Or what's her name? Jazz. I think that's what it is. Jazz.
Oh, Jazz, yeah.
Yeah, because it was just like those females like redefined women's wrestling at that time, where it was nothing but bras and panties matches.
Mm-hmm. Those
were the people who really set the standard for Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Four Horsewomen. They are the reason why they're trying to get as much attention as they are now. I mean, if you got those people back going against the people now of today, to me, it would be worth watching. It would be extremely interesting, and I would be down to watch every last match. So it's either Lita or Trish Stratus. I love both of them. They're both goddess.
I mean, well, with the year that we're in, maybe it wouldn't make too much sense to have, a Sable or Tori Wilson back, because from what they were back then and used for, I don't think it would be best to have them back, because really how else would you try to package them? It just wouldn't make sense. This is a different era, different time. We're trying to If it's women's revolution, evolution, whatever you want to call it, you know, I don't know. But no, I like Trish Stratus. Would be awesome to see her. But I think for me, to be serious, I think Victoria would be the one that I want to see back, and hopefully, like I said, I heard your rumors about that. Maybe it'll actually happen.
And
Just
I
like
heard it was, I heard it was Beth Phoenix as well. Beth Phoenix is supposed to come back.
Oh yeah, I forgot about her.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true or not because they had the same rumors with Mickie James, and here it is, Mickie James coming back. So it's a possibility that she may come back. And she's also was pretty big in her time as well. She was kind of underlooked considering the fact that she was in the years where women's matches were like bathroom breaks, so to speak. That's what they used to call it. She didn't get the attention that she really deserves. And I think if she were to come back with that same character and gimmick, she would do pretty good. She was huge, and her then is perfect for what we need now. So if she came back, it'd be fine. It'd be a perfect add-on.
Yeah. And either way, because we've seen rumors about all of them, really, that they all should be back or will be back and all this other stuff. But yeah, I guess the first shoe to drop being Mickie James officially being back and now going to be back in WWE. Now, I don't know if they're going to have her debut or have something before we get to the takeover, or if it's just going to be right at takeover the first time you'll see her. Either way, it's going to be pretty cool. Just like next week on Monday Night Raw, Bill Goldberg is going to be on Raw. So you're looking forward to that, Palmer?
Yeah, I never seen this dude wrestle in my life. Like I seen his highlights, but he was the GOAT of WCW, and I never thought. Well, he did go to WWE, but I think he gave up or something like that. 03 or something like that. But
05.
05. But yeah, he's a beast, and I'm glad they don't have Ryback there because Ryback is a ripoff of Goldberg. So yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, I know. I was hearing Ryback was being upset and even mocked Goldberg's tweet where he tweeted, he just kind of tweeted the same thing himself on his Twitter, mocking Goldberg's tweet about being on Raw the next week. That was kind of funny because I guess Ryback wanted to be the one to face Goldberg because of all the Goldberg chants he got during his matches in the past. So that sort of would have been interesting. I'd rather like it this way with him and Brock than Bill and Ryback, but it is what it is. And Ryback, he's just sore anyways because of how he left and how things ended with him and WWE. I guess another thing to talk about, just generally, is the matches for Hell in a Cell, pay-per-view Hell in a Cell, 3 Hell in a Cell matches.
Yeah.
And the biggest one being the biggest news is the one for the Raw Women's Championship. Sasha Banks, Charlotte. Yeah, certainly looking forward to it. It's going to be history making. For me, I've been saying, whether it's Matt Madness or talking WWJ, is that I'm hoping that they're actually doing this because they want that they deserve it, that they want to give it to them, and not just appeasing this women's revolution. I mean, it's a real thing. If you want real change, you gotta give them these opportunities and see how they do, and then it's up to them to shine and prove they belong, and in that kind of way. So I like that they're doing it, but I hope it's like I said, for the right reasons, and not just appeasing the thing. I don't think it is, but I'm just saying that in general. What are your thoughts on that announcement for Hell in a Cell, Mark?
Well, first of all, I'm looking forward to it. I'm curious to see how they're going to play it out, how they're going to wrestle in the Cell, considering the fact that this is the first Hell in a Cell match for the women's division. I definitely tell that they're trying everything they can to make sure this whole women's evolution thing is going to work. They want it to work, and they're going to do whatever they can to make it work. And for example, this whole Hell in a Cell thing, never ever has anybody even expect this to happen. So this is going to be history in the making. I'm going to be excited to see it, even if it was a terrible match. I mean, I'm still excited to see it. I'm still happy for the women's division because they come from very, very, very hard times from trying to get an attention, then having the whole Trish thing, and then going back and then trying to get it again.
Yeah.
But like 10 times is more, and they're pushing and they're pushing. I want this to be a good match, and I'm rooting for it. You know, I always want Sasha Banks to win, so I'm rooting for Sasha Banks to win.
Yeah.
But I'm rooting for it, and I hope this match ends up being really good. Hopefully, you know, one of the best matches of the night.
Well, yeah, for sure. Hopefully it does deliver, because it just seems like in this past years, maybe because of the era that we're in, that these Hell in a Cell matches haven't been like they were in the past. You know, you don't see a lot of bleeding. The cell really hasn't been used. It's just there for visual effect and the nostalgic of it, thinking of the past. And, you know, they show highlights of what Hell in a Cell was, but that doesn't mean that it, you know, because WWE knows that that's not going to be what it's now. I mean, all the Hell in a Cell matches for the last couple of years, at least to me, have just been mirage of what it was, or just, you know, what it used to be, half of what it used to be. I guess what I'm saying is like they just have it there. It's you know, a glorified steel cage match where they really, if anything, they throw them into the cage maybe a couple of times and that's it. You know, no other big spots except for, you know, this past WrestleMania with Shane McMahon. Diving into the Undertaker, and the Undertaker moved, you know, to the announcer table, but beyond that, no crazy spots. And to think that Shane McMahon, out of all the superstars that have been in Hell in a Cell matches in the past couple of years, that could have done spots that are more able-bodied to do it, I guess you could say, than Shane, he's the one to do a crazy spot, because that's him, you know, than all the other ones, and he's, you know, been here for a short time, and technically was supposed to only be here for a short time, so ironic in that way as well. But I hope, you know, I hope it delivers. I hope it is the match of the night. I also hope that they don't, again, flip-flop title again. You know, Sasha Banks won the title on a Monday Night Raw, the first Raw after the brand split, and then Charlotte won it at SummerSlam. You know, we don't want now, or else I don't want, again, Sasha Banks winning it on a Raw and Charlotte winning it back at the next pay-per-view here being Hell in a Cell. I mean, that's, you know, again, you know, I don't want that flip-flopping with the titles, as I stated a couple of weeks ago, or I stated that week when Mike was on, Mikey, you know, saying I don't want that stuff. I don't want flip-flopping of the titles. To me, I don't know if it like totally devalues the title. It just makes it seem a little less important to me, just because they're going back and forth, even though they're obviously the best in the WWE in the women's division, and also on Raw, of course. But you know, if you're going to give someone a run, give them a run, and then, you know, book it from there. It's just, to me, it would be better. But you know, if it happens again, it happens again. But I'd be a little bit disappointed if they change it again and have Charlotte again be the next, or be the new women's champion there at Hell in a Cell. But anyways, let's get back to SmackDown Live's pay-per-view they just had, WWE No Mercy. I thought it was all right. I don't think it was better than their first one, Backlash, which is their first solo pay-per-view after the brand extension. But I think it was a little bit better than Clash of Champions that Raw had. But I want to get you guys' overall thoughts on No Mercy, your match of the night, and anything else you want to discuss that and to do specifically to No Mercy. Palmer?
You know, the match card was really tough, you know. So, no, it was an alright pay-per-view. It was better than Clash of Champions, but out of a 10, I give it an 8 or a 7.5. But, you know, the way they was promoting the Dolph Ziggler versus the Miz match, it should have been the main event, you know, because you didn't know what was going to happen. Like, during the match, you was thinking, oh, could Dolph Ziggler really retire tonight? You know, so I'll give it a 8. So, yeah, that's thoughts of it.
Okay. Mark?
Well, I'm gonna have to kind of like piggyback off what he said just a little bit. I feel like Dolph Ziggler and the Miz match should have been one of the main events, other than the AJ Styles match. I was kind of disappointed that Becky Lynch wasn't there, because then that, in my opinion, I think it ought to have been a triple threat match. the women's match or the career versus title match, because all three of them would have been good. I'm not gonna say that the Naomi versus Alexa Bliss match wasn't good, because it was good.
Mm-hmm.
I like Naomi.
Yeah.
I feel like she's kind of underrated a little bit. I feel like that match was pretty good. I would classify it as a main event because it was originally supposed to be a title match, but of course Becky Lynch had injuries or medical issues or whatever. But overall, I thought the pay-per-view wasn't as good. Like you said, Steve, the pay-per-view could have been a lot better, but maybe they're leading up to something bigger. Maybe Survivor Series is going to be just as good as Backlash. I don't know. Maybe something. Maybe they're leading up to something. Maybe they're not trying to make everything such a great pay-per-view. Maybe they're leading it up to something bigger. If I could rate it, I would give it a 7 out of 10 because I feel like they could have done more improvement, especially with the women's match not being available.
Yeah, I'd probably go the same way there too. We could probably go 7 out of 10 for the pay-per-view overall. Match of the night definitely was Miz Dolph Ziggler. I agree with you guys wholeheartedly. That one should have been the main event than Randy Orton Bray Wyatt. Not saying that was a bad match. I just thought with what was at stake and what the stipulations were that they should have had that as the main event. Since they put the main event, the WWE World Title Triple Threat match to start the show, which to me I think they did that because of the second debate, Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton, and then the NFL game with my team, the Packers against the Giants, playing on Sunday Night Football. To offset that because the game was starting around 7:30. The debate technically was going to be starting 7:15, 7:20. I think it started fine. Actually, officially starting. Coverage, of course, was all day that I was watching that day, but that was a window for WWE to do that. Now, it's a little bit different when you're dealing with the WWE Network. Like for me, I was still able to watch all three. I watched the debate on Facebook. I watched the game on TV, and I watched the pay-per-view and the WWE Network on my other device. So, I was able to actually have all three watching at the same time. Might not have been the smartest thing, but it is what it is. I was able to concentrate as much as I could on each one at different times. So, it's enjoyable and I was able to do that. And most people are able to do that because with the network being able to be played on the device or a laptop, you can watch one on the laptop, watch the game on TV, or watch the debate on TV, and you're able to do that. And I see Palmer accidentally dropped out here.
Yeah, I just that too.
But anyways, I thought New Mercy was good, and I really was disappointed a bit for how SmackDown Live was the next Tuesday, not the next night, but the next the next show after the pay-per-view. Coming off a pay-per-view could have been a lot better. I certainly would have hoped that to be, but like I said, I give it a 7 out of 10 as well. Still a good show. Hey, heck, one of my faves, or kind of, Luke Harper came back, showing up in the main event. So that's kind of cool. I've been waiting for his return, and I think we were talking about this last week, Mark, about him and about when he's going to return, and him having matches on live events for Monday Night Raw, technically Raw live events, and thinking that he's going to Raw, and that's good for him. But I've been saying that I really thought that he should go to SmackDown Live, whether he was going to be with the Wyatt family or not with the Wyatt family. Either way, I assume so to be with Wyatt family. But either way, I would have liked him to be on SmackDown. I would have had for him a better chance, a better opportunity over there, and I'm glad that he is there. So all of that encompassing Becky Lynch not being able to wrestle, them having that match now at a live event in her neck of the woods, so to speak. I believe it was Scotland or wherever.
Glasgow, I think that's what it is.
Glasgow.
Yeah.
But having it at a live event there on the road to Survivor Series, I thought, well, why? Why not just hold it off to Survivor Series? I mean, not to disrespect the people of Glasgow or the people going to that live event. I mean, they deserve to have good matches, just like any live event. Not poo-pooing on that, but it's just that if you're gonna hold on for title, you just have the title match again at the next pay-per-view. What are your thoughts on that, guys? I mean, does it really matter? Do you care? Or would you rather have waited till Survivor Series to have the rematch between Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss? Mark?
Well, I feel like they kind of set it up on purpose, considering the fact that Ireland. Maybe this is just my opinion. Maybe that Ireland and Scotland, I guess, seem more close. maybe they put that there for a reason. It's a hometown crowd for Becky. She's probably going to retain it. Leading up to Survivor Series, she may have another title match. Maybe it was staged for a reason, or maybe Becky Lynch really was hurt and they just were forced to do that. I feel like they should have maybe waited a little longer, maybe to the next SmackDown, considering the fact that it's so far. Not many people are going to see it. But I feel like it was a little disappointing, whole issue with Becky. And I feel like if it's going to be in Scotland, then it's just going to have to be in Scotland. We're going to have to deal with it, unfortunately, Steve, because, no disrespect to the people from Scotland, like you said. But, interesting place to have it. Yeah, I mean, we're just going to have to deal with it. I still like Becky. I still want to see the match. And it is what it is. So, yeah.
Palmer, what are your thoughts on it?
It was basically the same thing y'all said, but, it was kind of disrespectful. But, no, I agree with y'all, but, no, that's...
Would you rather have would you rather have them to have it at Survivor Series, or are you okay with it being at a live event?
I wanted to have it at Survivor Series because not that many people would see it unless like somebody Facebook it, like live stream it. But
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, good for them. I mean, they get a hometown girl there, or somebody close hometown girl, and having a big matchup. I mean, I don't see now that they're going to have it at this live event. I don't see Alexa Bliss winning the title. Then again, I don't know if I would have said that if it was Survivor Series, but still, at least it would have made me maybe think in that way a little bit more, if you know what I mean. If it was at Survivor Series, giving the percentages a little bit closer, maybe closer to 50-50, 60-40 kind of split. Maybe if it was at Survivor Series, then now you're having it at a live event. But I think, you give your hometown crowd a chance, you give them the match, and then you have a rematch at Survivor Series. I still think that they're going to have a match between them two at Survivor Series. Just it's going to be a rematch, a second chance, technically a second chance for Alexa Bliss there, because I really don't know where they would go if they have Alexa Bliss get a title shot at the live event. And as Palmer was saying, not too many people want to see it. And then we head over to Survivor Series, and who is Becky going to face now? Who's going to be the number one contender? He's just stay with Alexa Bliss. So we'll still see it. And I guess in WWE's eyes, the live crowd gets a good show, and then the rest of the WWE universe that we will see it gets a good show. We get the Survivor Series. Plus, they have the YouTube channel. I mean, this is 2016 now, technology era. They might show clips of the match, or maybe even other matches or whatever, since it'd probably be the marquee match of that live event. Plus backstage segments and stuff like that, so they can keep building on that rivalry and get us to Survivor Series for that matchup. Their one-on-one, quote-unquote, this is rematch again, trying to get a shot the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. But again, too bad that it wasn't able to happen at No Mercy, but hey, it is what it is. And as long as Becky's all right, be able to come back quick, fast, and hurry, that's all that really matters to me. I mean, can't really complain there. But let's switch over, if we can, to Monday Night Raw. And really, to me, the big moment of Raw was being Paul Heyman laying down the challenge kind of to Bill Goldberg and that promo he cut and everything. I just want to get you guys thoughts on that and overall Raw. Your thoughts and other things that you wanted to discuss here on that subject specifically for Monday Night or Raw. Palmer?
Oh, well, we've been seeing this coming since WWE 2K17 trailer came out. Yeah. So, like WWE 2K and WWE was hiding it. Like, they was basically they was basically trying to think, like make fans think like this match is going to happen. But I've been seeing this coming. Hopefully it won't. Like, hopefully it get a 5-star rating. Cause I heard like WrestleMania 20 when they fought. I think they could have did a little better there.
Yeah, I agree. They could have done a lot better there. And that was kind of disappointing in how that match went. It was just a situation that it was. They both were leaving. They didn't want to injure each other. So they said, we'll do the least that we can, whatever. And WWE decided to put over Goldberg because they thought, or at least from what I was hearing and reading years afterwards or everything, that they thought Goldberg maybe had a better. They thought they had a better chance to bring back Goldberg than they ever did with Brock. They thought that he was going to just leave forever with his situation going to football. So that could be another reason why they're doing this, so Brock can get a win back. WWE can kind of erase their own mistake of putting over Bill at that time because of what I just explained. So them running their own wrong, which they'll never admit to, but still it could be, and and other reasons, and to have a better match. Bill wants to have a match in front of his kids, as well. See his father wrestle and stuff like that. So, all those things put into play. I think we are going to get a pretty good match now. 5-star, I don't know. I mean, I like that. The young fan in me would want that too because it would happen in WrestleMania 20. But I see it being an okay match too, maybe even a good match at the most to me. So 3 stars, maybe 4 stars match, but I don't see anything 5-star. And I wonder whether it's going to be here at Survivor Series because I still don't know 100% certain that's going to be Survivor Series the place to be for that match. I mean, they still string us along, and it could be at Royal Rumble. It could be at WrestleMania. I mean, it's not a foregone conclusion it'll be Survivor Series. Now, I'm not going to be surprised if it is, but I think to me it would be better to string along as long as you can and have it at WrestleMania because from what I've been reading and hearing is that the alternative is Shane McMahon and Lesnar at WrestleMania. So, hearing that alternative, I'd rather have the Shane McMahon match either right here at Survivor Series and then Billy going into Goldberg Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. I mean, they're having Royal Rumble in San Antonio in the Alamo Dome, trying to get as many people as you can for that show, even though the Royal Rumble does sell itself for the Royal Rumble match. But you want another marquee match for that pay-per-view, you have Brock versus Bill, Lesnar versus Goldberg in the Alamo Dome, one time only or whatever. And then you break apart from there. Maybe you'll see them both at WrestleMania, but against different people.
Yeah.
So I mean that's the way I would do it. Either at Royal Rumble or WrestleMania, not here at Survivor Series, because I just don't think that Goldberg, at least, because obviously Lesnar's back, is quite the shape yet to be able to be in a match unless he's been training that I didn't know of. But I think it'd be best for him to just let it sit, let it build, and just wait a little bit longer. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Do you think it'd be better to have it now, sooner rather than later, or let it sit and stir and let that pot with Paul Heyman promos and stuff to Royal Rumble, or maybe even WrestleMania? Mark?
Well, I'm just gonna tell you right now, if you guys have not noticed, Paul Heyman is one of the greatest promo cutters, like the greatest promo guys ever. I mean, to ever step foot in the WWE ring. I just wanted to get that off my chest. I feel like the Goldberg and Brock Lesnar match should be scheduled for WrestleMania. I feel like they should have maybe the Shane and Lesnar match around Royal Rumble to lead up into WrestleMania. Because everybody's been wanting to see Goldberg versus Lesnar, part 2. I remember watching that. I was like super young, by the way. I remember watching that, and I was just like, "Oh, these two dudes are huge." I want to see this again eventually. Possibly, I can see it again. I feel like they should lead it up because then more and more and more people are gonna watch it as the road continues and eventually leads to WrestleMania. I feel like if they have it at Survivor Series, it's kind of like, it's a one-time thing. It's not like you could just repeat it again because Goldberg does not want to lose. He said if he's coming to WWE, he doesn't want to lose. So I feel like they should have a long rivalry long rival build up from now to WrestleMania. Maybe have certain pop ups where Goldberg comes, Spears, Brock Lesnar. I don't know, something that leads up to WrestleMania that people actually look forward to. If they have it at Survivor Series, it's just now it's over. But if they have it at WrestleMania, you could do whatever you want. Paul Heyman could come again and then cut those amazing promos that he usually does. I'm a Paul Heyman guy, by the way. ECW all the way, the greatest thing ever. I feel like they should have certain segments building up to everything, like I said. And yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the timeline of Survivor Series, Shane McMahon versus Brock. Which one is it? Yeah, Royal Rumble, Shane McMahon versus Brock, and then WrestleMania, Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, or maybe have switch it up a little bit. But I just prefer the first one.
Now, Palmer?
It's gonna be at WrestleMania 33. They're gonna do it like John Cena versus The Rock, so it can't be at Survivor Series.
You know how that went. It's supposed to be once in a lifetime, happened twice in a lifetime.
But hopefully, like probably Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon is gonna have a storyline again. Like Vince McMahon is probably gonna like push Shane McMahon to face Brock Lesnar. So yeah, I think it's gonna turn out that way.
Same like The Undertaker?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't see Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar kind of like working in the same direction as Vince, because that'd be kind of weird, in my opinion.
Well,
yeah, same here, because I would rather have it the other way. I have it with Goldberg with Vince.
Yeah.
I don't think that happened with Brock and Heyman. But then again, at some point they had a storyline with Brock and Heyman working with Authority for a short time. Not working with them, but at least in a way aligning. So whoever knows, we'll see. We'll see how things go. I'm certainly looking forward to it. Certainly looking forward to seeing Bill at WWE ring again next week on Raw. It certainly will be interesting and entertaining and fascinating as well. So I'm going to ask you guys both if there's anything else left you want to talk about having to do with Raw or SmackDown or any TV shows for WWE before we get into the news of the WWE. So before we move transition to that, is there anything else you want to talk about with the shows, Mark?
Well, if you guys watch Talking Smack, that's kind of crazy. How do you feel about AJ Styles defending his championship belt against James Ellsworth? I mean, that was the most random thing I've ever seen. I mean, I like James Ellsworth. He's funny to watch him because he's so skinny. He looks like he doesn't know what he's doing half the time. I'm an Ellsworth guy because he personally I've seen him. He's do believe he's from same area where I'm from, so it's just a native respect. How about that? Like, how do you feel? Do you think it's just a match, or you think maybe possibly you could have something that everybody? How do you feel about that?
I guess I'll go first. I just see it as something randomly just put together. Dean Ambrose maybe trying to get involved, trying to help Ellsworth win, but it not working out. AJ Styles, obviously retains, because I don't see a Vince McMahon situation when Vince beat Triple H on a SmackDown Live or on SmackDown on a SmackDown show to win the WWE title that one time, and that was actually heading into a big match for the next pay-per-view. I forget what pay-per-view that was heading into, but there was a six-pack challenge at that pay-per-view that they were heading into, and that's why most people didn't think Vince was going to win, because you're heading into a big match with Kane, Big Show, Rock, Austin, Triple H, Mankind. I think we're part of that match if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think
six-pack challenge, and then Vince McMahon won the title, and had a forfeit, jump out, and then the Rock or somebody else or Austin put in the match. And I think it was Austin, because I know Vince won the title, and Raw Austin. I think that's the sequence it went. But either way, I don't see it happening here. I don't see James Ellsworth winning the WWE World Title. If they do, that'd be freaking crazy. But good for James Ellsworth. I mean, I think he was the first one of the jobbers that Braun Strowman faced, and he's still having credibility and being able to be brought back in WWE. and being part of the WWE World Title feud between Ambrose, Cena, and Styles. So even be involved in that, it's crazy. Not like the other jabronis, other jobbers, other enhancement talent are doing the same things. I mean, if there was one that I would want to see more of, that would be actually Britt Baker, who did a job to Nia Jax on a Raw. I wouldn't mind seeing her again. Maybe put it in a storyline or a situation like that, like James is getting. So it's crazy to think of how that worked and how fanfare he's gotten since that moment, since that time. But no, I don't see him winning the title. But I certainly will be watching and seeing how it goes because I obviously see Ambrose and Cena get involved and maybe trying to help James win. But I still see obviously AJ Styles winning it because what really would be the point of having James win? I mean, it would be a swerve. It would be kind of cool in that way. But in a long-term booking or in a booking way, really, how you you explain this and do this moving forward, then you have to have booking it to Survivor Series. You have James Ellsworth defending it against Styles. I mean, yeah, technically Styles get it back, but you know what I mean. It just wouldn't make sense to me to have him win the title, but we'll certainly see. Palmer, what are your thoughts?
The reason I asked though is because it could be like a Santino moment.
Yeah.
Like where he first came, Bobby Lashley
Or
came and helped him.
Oh yeah,
or it could
when he faced
or it
Umaga.
could go ahead. It
No,
could
go
be a
ahead.
Mick. It could be a Mick Foley moment when he first won the WWE Championship. Like I believe Stone Cold helped him win it. Like the crowd was going crazy that night. But all this happened because of the internet. Like the internet was roasting him. Like all this happened. So like he better like thank the internet a lot. So like he
Yeah, I better
getting
thank
put.
Twitter then, because he
Yeah,
was
he
getting a
getting.
lot of reactions where he getting that fanfare and the Twitter and Facebook groups and stuff like that. Yeah, social media. It is the area we are in. You can get fame out of nowhere, overnight sensations. It happens here on YouTube, overnight sensations, and videos that were meant to be that way. But excuse me. Yeah, it's a good question. Palmer, do you have any other topics or stuff to bring up before we get into news?
Do you think the cruiserweight division is a challenge to Lucha Underground? Cause like I say this because Lucha Underground is getting promoted a lot on WWE commercials. I don't know if y'all seen it, but
Yeah,
it
I've
was
seen it.
Mm-hmm.
it was on like Monday night and SmackDown. So that's my question.
I don't. I'll go first, I guess. I don't think it is. I mean, at least not comparatively against each other, because Cruiserweight be part of the WWE and part of Ross brand specifically. But I can see where you could have drawn that conclusion. That's all. I wouldn't say so. And another thing about the cruiserweights, there was a report of thoughts that WWE wanted to get rid of the weight limit of 205. I think that would be kind of stupid. Now you have Sami Zayn part of or could be part of the cruiserweight division, being tank team and stuff like that. I mean, those two, if those two happen, I don't think it'd be good because Sami Zayn should stay part of the main roster in that overall being a singles competitor, being in the mid card, then having to be put in the cruiserweight division because you can do kicks and flips. I don't think that would be best for him. I think it would just be laziness by the writers to put Sami Zayn in the cruiserweight division. And with the weight limit, they have that for a reason. When we think cruiserweights, we think light, fast, bumps and momentum spots. If you open it up, really, then they can just throw anybody in there if they wanted to, just to have them in the cruiserweights to have a dominant performance and use them really if they wanted to. If they did that, then using them as like jobbers or enhancement talent for a superstar, let's say like some or whoever else. I think it's best to cap that limit and have it still 205 and not mess with that. Um, but that's just me overall with the cruiserweight division. What's your thoughts, Mark?
Well, I kind of had my question and I had my answer. I just wanted you to repeat the question one more time, so I just make sure my answer was correlating to what you were asking.
Who, me?
Could you repeat the question one more time?
All right. Do you think the cruiserweight division is a challenge for Lucha Underground?
Well, if you think about it, Lucha Underground has some of the stars that we used to have. Rey Mysterio, John Morrison. Do you believe?
They mostly lightweights. Cruiserweights in Lucha Underground. Some of them are heavyweights. Yeah.
So I wouldn't necessarily think that it is a problem for Lucha Underground. I just feel like the cruiserweight division is just coming back, so it's gonna take some time. I feel like so far the whole thing has been kind of around T.J. Perkins and Brian Kendrick. I feel like if they expand a little more, maybe it could be a little bit more interesting. But I've heard that they may stop the cruiserweight division around next year because they said it's not Vince's type of thing, and I feel like if Vince does that, he's possibly gonna mess up his business because that's all he really cares about if he thinks like that. His ego gets ahead of him too much, and I feel like if he takes away the cruiserweight classic and then the whole division, what was the point of bringing it up? What was the point of even trying to even bring so much hype to it? You got a big ass trophy. You have the belt that T.J. Perkins got.
That belt is dope.
Yeah, it is. It's nice. I like it.
That's all right.
It's the whole CWC thing. I think that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
They could change that, but other than that, I like the color. I like the whole format. But I thought the belt was cool. But I feel like what was the whole point of even bringing up the classic if you're gonna take it back within a year?
If you look at it, Eddie Guerrero was like one of the best in cruiserweight, and if it wasn't for WCW cruiserweight division, and if he didn't go to WWE, we probably would have never heard of this guy. He's the best of the Frog Splash, I believe. So,
no, that's not
yeah.
Rockstar. It's the Frog Splash.
Yeah. So he's the best. So if it wasn't for him, this cruiserweight division probably wouldn't get that much of a push nowadays. But yeah, that's what I think.
Well, I hope the Triple H then, if that rumor is true, Mark, or whatever you were reading there about Vince wanting to end the cruiserweights in a year, hopefully Triple H steps in and gives, because that cruiserweight classic thing was all his idea, his project, and like you said, if it gets cut from the balance sheet and they don't have the cruiserweight division anymore on Raw, and really, like you said, Mark, what was the point for everything, the time, effort, promotion, and all this other stuff, having the cruiserweight division, if it's just gonna be gone like that within a year by Vince McMahon. It just wouldn't make sense. Hopefully, Triple H, like I said, if that rumor is true, he gets his big nose in there and he tells it what it is and says that he wants this division to stay, he wants it to grow and be bigger, better. Because I'm liking the way Triple H is doing things over in NXT, and as him being the future CEO, future owner of WWE, with his wife Stephanie McMahon, of course. I see the sky's the limit. After Vince steps down.
That's another thing I like about Triple H. He run WWE better than Vince because he
does.
All the, no, I said he does run.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, like he run this better than Vince because he makes all the wrestlers all the globes and from different promotions.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, Kevin Owens, he came from ROH. Austin Aries, Austin Aries, TNA, AJ Styles, TNA, ROH. So Shinsuke Nakamura. So he doing good with this business. I hope he become the CEO one day.
Well, that's for sure he will be, and I think that's also the generational or the situational as well for Triple H now. And I do agree with you guys though that Triple H running it better than Vince McMahon, but it's just because of situations turning beyond. Like Vince McMahon taking old era, and Triple H with his new style, knowing how to market it, using the social media to advantage and all this other stuff, and NXT and the simple booking of that show and how great that's been, and all the NXT takeover shows have been top notch to me. So. Triple H is doing that stuff, and it's it's the young thinking, I think, is what's helping him over, against Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon being stuck in his ways. I mean, I'm sure Vince McMahon, when he was young and he taken over the business from his father, his father was stuck in old ways or something like that, and Vince wanting to improve the company as he did and taking over the territories and WWE becoming the superpower that it was. If it wasn't for Vince McMahon, WWE wouldn't be where it is today. Now, yes, now
That's
Triple
true.
H is running it better than Vince McMahon, sure, but it's still Vince McMahon that brought the company to where it is now. That now he has now that Triple H is going to be taking over WWE, Triple H is taking over WWE. That's in a good state, and that is because of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. So, as much as it is true that Triple H is running it better than Vince, still got to remember, who brought WWE to be where it is today, and that WWE still in business today. Like I said, being Vince McMahon taking over from his father, and I'm sure if social media and if all that stuff existed way back when Vince took it over from his father, Vince Senior, then people would be saying the same thing on podcasts about how Vince Jr., the son, is doing better than the father, um, and time for him to step down and all this other stuff, like they are saying now with Triple H, the son-in-law of Vince McMahon, how he's doing better, and soon time for him to step down. So, as like I said, as much as I agree, you also got to know your history too, and respect the history. I know
Right.
that Vince McMahon, um, being the reason, and him put without Vince McMahon, no WrestleMania. WrestleMania doesn't exist. WWE
That
doesn't
that's
exist.
true.
We don't have all this stuff, all this great stuff that we get to look forward to that we're quote unquote spoiled with now with WrestleMania each and every year and
Hmm.
everything. That Vince McMahon started that. So, Triple H is starting his thing. Whether, if the Cruiserweight Classic actually does stay and continues on, then that's what Triple H created for generations in the future for his children and the children's children of the McMahon family. So like I said, I like to see it both ways. Where yes, I agree with you both. Triple H is running better than Vince right now, but remember, Vince was the one that started WWE and really put WWE on the map. Started WrestleMania, and now being at the place that it is right now for Triple H to take over. Obviously, put respect on his name, Vince McMahon.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I feel like the without Vince, if you think about it, the Attitude Era wouldn't be the Attitude Era. Other than Stone Cold, The Rock, the people who were responsible for making that show as big as it was at the time. Without the brains of Vince, I don't think it would may have happened. It was a desperate move, considering the fact that it was WCW and WWE going head to head ratings at the time WWE was losing,
Mm-hmm.
or WWF. I'm sorry, let me call it WWF because that's what it was back then. Um, WCW and WWF were going head to head ratings. It was a time where WCW was killing Raw. And then Vince came up with the idea, people are changing. They need something different. They want something different. They gave it to him. The Attitude Era was born. The Rock was born. Stone Cold was born. Mankind was born. Mick Foley was born. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody got their name there. So I feel like I'm gonna have to agree with you, Steve. You gotta give Vince the props because without him, there wouldn't be any WrestleMania. There wouldn't be an Attitude Era. There possibly could have not even been WWF if you think about it, because his brain, he's responsible for pretty much everything that goes on, other than the Rock and Stone Cold doing what they did inside the ring. He was responsible for most of that stuff. So you got to give him the credit. But now I think as time goes on, there's people that have to eventually step down, realize what they're doing now is not working. Possibly the time's up. I'm not saying Vince's time is up because I don't know how he's doing right now. I don't know what he's thinking right now. I can't speak for him. But I feel like if you think about it, Triple H right now is doing a better job than Vince. If Vince feels that Triple H can do a good job controlling Raw, SmackDown, NXT, possibly he can do it. But at this point, I feel like Vince is still responsible for everything. He's gonna be like that for a long time. But I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said, Steve. You still have to give a man his credit because without him, a lot of stuff would happen.
Yeah, and if it wasn't without him, we probably would have been watching WCW today and ECW, but those are some good companies though. So
ECW is great.
yeah.
And I'm sure during that time, or even before we had the Monday Night Wars between WCW and WWE, or formerly World Wrestling Federation, um, that somebody would have taken up the territories, and whether it was going to be WCW or a new company coming in, or gobbling them up, because that was going to be the future. And Vince McMahon already saw that. Vince Jr. Vince Sr. didn't want to do that. He wanted to. I think he was being a little too nice and wanting to let them all be themselves and the competition and stuff like that. But Vince Jr. kind of saw it, looking forward, I guess you could say, thinking forward, and knowing that if he wasn't going to do it, somebody was, and take over pro wrestling in general. And he had the cojones, the grapefruits, I guess you can say, and did what he did in WWE. So I guess give the man respect. And now his time might be up here soon, but not quite yet. So enjoying some things. He still has his brilliance, his moments of brilliance, and also awesome to see on him on Raws and on shows and everything, storylines and stuff. But yeah, at some point, will be Triple H is definitely taking over, and the company will be in good hands with them as we see how NXT is going and everything, with Triple H in charge. Certainly, I'm looking forward to the future in that way. Any other general show topics or topics you want to bring up, Mark?
No, I can't think of any right now. I'm sure Palmer has some. Do you have any, Palmer?
Nah.
All right, let's get to one of the big news, at least to me. I guess we can actually talk one news item that does not have to do with WWE. TNA, Billy Corgan, filing a lawsuit against Dana White, TNA itself, parent company, not Dana White, Dixie Carter, and her husband as well. All in a lawsuit. Also, restraining orders against Dixie and her husband as well. So getting the police involved in that kind of situation, get the law involved with that. It seems like I think Dixie Carter not wanting to get rid of her company, get rid of her baby, and something that she wanted to see to succeed. Maybe they had a verbal agreement to something, but now she wants to renege on that. Kind of like, I don't know if you guys remember or even heard of the singer that wanted the TNA or wanted to buy TNA a couple of years ago, which would have been interesting. But she verbally agreed with him. She was supposed to get minority ownership. Then she kind of must have had an epiphany or a second thought. She didn't want to do it, pulled out, and decided not to do that. So I think this is what's happening here. Difference is the other party is fighting back, and Billy Corgan, kind of like a chess game now, making his move, and suing them and all this other stuff. And I have a feeling maybe coming right under Vince McMahon. We were just talking about him and Triple H and stuff. Vince McMahon coming out of nowhere like an RKO and taking over and buying TNA. Not just the video library, but TNA in general, shutting it down. Maybe bringing some superstars back over, like the Hardy Boys. That would be the main two. And having them back in the WWE.
If Jeff Hardy wants to come back, he gotta fix his drug problem. That's the only thing.
He already fixed it, I thought.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I could have swore he fixed it. Maybe it was
I think it's
a while ago.
Oh. But yeah, WWE is giving some Easter eggs about TNA. Like, if you go on WWE.com, and I told y'all this last week, but search TNA, and then you find 315 results of it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's pay-per-views about it, and they give you links to their website. So it's crazy.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those things that maybe it could be a writing on the wall. Maybe WWE will be purchasing TNA, and this whole Billy Corgan lawsuit thing is him just being pissed off that he found out the news from Dixie Carter, and now having all this stuff happening. Maybe not. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not the fly on the wall in the meetings, but it's just my thinking that maybe that could be the situation, and Billy Corgan just being upset because he did want to take over TNA, be a majority owner, rebrand the company, let WWE buy the video library. And then, like I said, rebrand TNA and go from there. But I think the best thing for business is really just let TNA end, for it to die out, and for WWE to buy it and to go from there. I mean, I know there's people out there that don't like, that kind of thinking of wanting to, eliminate your competition in that way. But in this situation, just like in WCW with WCW and Vince McMahon back in the day, I think it just isn't necessary. If Vince wants to pay or overpay for it, then he has the right to do so, and hopefully that does go down.
Yeah, I'm just looked up TNA on the WWE website,
Uh-huh.
and Palmer sounds about right. It's going back from, I mean, so far that I see, it says 2007.
Oh,
So it looks like it's being released. It looks like it must be linked to the TNA website.
like it would be much better if WWE buys TNA because TNA is so boring. Like I'm sorry, but
Whoa, whoa.
Oh, there you go.
I'm talking about like in this generation than like 5 years ago because like I used to love TNA like 5 years ago. Like I always used to watch like Hulk Hogan wrestle and like Sting wrestle. You know, so like you know, like the product is kind of unwatchable. Like I mean, to me it is, but I don't know about y'all, but yeah, that's my thoughts about it.
Well, it certainly must be unwatchable to me because I haven't seen TNA in a while. So there you go.
I feel like this is the thing about TNA. TNA gets underlooked. TNA gets underlooked because you have things like WWE. You have, Ring of Honor isn't necessarily a great show compared to WWE or TNA. I feel like the top two places you should go are either WWE or TNA. Most of the time, people go to WWE. It's a mainstream thing. I mean, everybody and their mother knows about WWE. And you go to TNA. TNA is big, but it's not as big because it's underlooked from the global thing we call WWE. They have great talent. They're more of a more. If you think about it, backstage, I was reading a Bobby Lashley interview. He says it's more of a family-oriented thing backstage. They invite your family. It's more of it's more comfortable there. Then you go to WWE and it's strictly business. This is exactly what Bobby Lashley said about WWE. It's strictly business. So I feel like it's a little bit more focused on WWE because the whole business aspect, you're expanding everything, more and more people are gonna know you. You look at it now, WWE is a global thing. I mean, you have people coming from China, you have people watching it in like I don't know, Hong Kong, like Thailand, whatever you call it, Bangkok. Just everybody is just watching it. TNA has the ability to do that, but they can't do it because even when they try, WWE is still gonna be in their way. TNA, in my opinion, has great talents. It's just they keep getting underlooked. So that's how I think about it.
So Mark, if you was an indie wrestler, what would you choose, TNA or Ring of Honor?
TNA, I'm gonna have to choose TNA on that one. TNA, definitely.
Oh.
What would you choose?
I would choose Ring of Honor because right now, like it's getting like a little push. Like, I think, like let me think of the word I'm looking for. The crowd is intense. And Ring of Honor, they might not have that much wrestlers there, but they give you more opportunities. So
Well, Palmer, how about Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling? If you were indie wrestler, where would you go?
Oh,
I would go the New Japan because like I don't know, I would be like sad that I gotta leave my family, but I gotta wrestle.
You gotta go where the money is.
Yeah.
Where would
But
you
like
go, Mark?
Oh, easily New Japan Pro Wrestling. I mean, you talking about AJ Styles has been there, Shinsuke Nakamura, the Bullet Club or the Club now. You have Brock Lesnar. I mean, you have everybody coming from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Same thing with TNA, because TNA, it was Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen, or whatever you want to call him. You have AJ Styles. You have God damn, I can't think of his name. Oh, you have AJ Styles, and you have a whole. Oh yeah, Austin Aries. You have everybody else coming from TNA, but I just feel like there's more competition in New Japan, because that's also a international hotspot. If you're trying to look and wrestle out of state, out of the country, the best place to go to is New Japan, because that's where everybody was, and you can make a name.
Yeah, like New Japan have like more moves than WWE. Like they creative over there. I gotta give them credit. Like like I saw this. I was last week. I was on YouTube. I was looking up like creative finishers or indie wrestling finishers, and like mostly it was New Japan and Ring of Honor. So they have some creative. They creative.
Okay, how about another thing? Just one more, Steve. Just one more.
Okay. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Ring of Honor or CZW, if you heard of that.
I'll go to Ring of Honor. You gotta pay me $1 million to go to ZZW. I'm not putting my body on the line. I mean, I want to go, like, if I was a wrestler, I want to go on a table, then a table with barbed wire, So, ZZW is very intense.
Very. It's death,
Kevin Owens was there. Dean Ambrose was there. That how Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, watch some of Dean Ambrose's match for CZW.
Yeah, that how Dean Ambrose got his gimmick from ZZW. So.
Dirty Dean.
Yep. But ZZW, I think like it's in Philadelphia. That's like the same thing as ECW was, but like it's worse than ECW. Like the way, like I heard, like I don't know. There's no video of this, but there's a rumor. I heard like this one dude like fought off a 2-story building at ZZW. So I mean, hoping that's fake.
Was it a scaffold match?
Scaffold match? I think.
Have you heard of those?
Is that the same thing as hardcore?
Yes, it's like where it's You've watched EC. Have you watched old ECW clips?
Yeah.
Have you seen the matches where it's like
the table is on top of the roof? What you talking?
Technically, it looks like it is. It's like
kind of like
table. It's a bunch of poles. It's another table. It's just a whole bunch of stuff stacked up on each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was watching.
Is that?
I was watching.
Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, I was watching a match last week. I think it was Tommy Dreamer and like I forgot the other dude name, but I think they was having a match like that. And Tommy
Dreamer. Yeah, that's probably what you were talking about. It's a scaffold match. It's death waiting for you.
Mhm. But I got one more thing.
Okay.
If you was an indie wrestler, would you go to Lucha Underground or Ring of Honor?
Mark?
Probably Ring of Honor. Probably.
No.
I would have to go Ring of Honor.
No, not that many luchadors are at Ring of Honor, but there's a lot of Japanese wrestlers there.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I'd probably say Ring of Honor as well.
Yeah. I feel like that's a better place for me. That's more my type of environment.
All right, so I'm going to bring up this next topic, news topic. I have to step away for a short moment. So I wanted to let my two people here know. Won't be too long, but I did want to bring up the topic, let you guys talk, and I'll slide back in, like sliding into DMs.
Will the live stream keep going on?
Yep, it'll keep going on. But anyways,
All right.
the topic to throw you guys away, Paige now had a 60-day suspension or a 60-day suspension from WWE. She spewing out the mouth, or not spewing off the mouth, spewing off the mouth through Instagram and stuff like that, giving her take and everything, WWE firing back, and seems like this is going to go down a slippery slope. Again, I'll give my thoughts when I come back, but I'll let you guys go back and forth down that topic of Paige, the situation with WWE, and where each of you think it's going to go from here.
Oh, she's leaving.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's like it's just no other way to describe it. She's leaving. If she's not leaving, it's possible that she may be maybe it may be a little while until she gets back on TV screen because of what's going on now. I feel like they look past her now in a way that they already know what they have planned out, and when she comes, she's gonna have to wait her turn. You know, I'm sure they have Bailey next up for that belt, and you know, she's just gonna have to wait. If it's either that or she's going to her family wrestling background of her family wrestling promotion. So.
Yeah, I mean, Paige in the WWE, she don't give a F about nothing. I mean, WWE, like, she got suspended because of weed, right?
I don't know. I thought it was a prescription drug.
Oh, well, WWE policies are strict, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they more stricter than all these other promotions. But, you know.
I think it's because of it's a global thing. Everybody looks at WWE as like a hotspot.
Yeah, I mean, Rob Van Dam, for example, like, you know, he do drugs. You know, he need to quit. You know, that how he got stripped from the WWE title back in 2006. Yeah, so like I would at least do it privately, not like no. So, what do you think?
Well, the whole RVD thing, I feel like it was just a simple incident. I feel like back then, in the Attitude Era, I'm positive, or maybe like the late '80s, I would have to say. I'm almost positive. Maybe from the late '80s to like the Attitude Era to like I don't know '05, like Union Underground across the nation type of Raw. I feel like they were already juicing. They were already on steroids. So it's like,
I mean, look at Hulk Hogan, for example. When he debuted at WCW, he had to take steroids. You know.
yeah, he was huge. He was a monster.
Yeah, I mean, Ultimate Warrior, RP the Hulk, Ultimate Warrior, but he took steroids. You know, he needed to lay it off. And like Scott Steiner.
Yeah, he was definitely on steroids. There's just no other way to describe it.
How is he? 60 now?
I have no idea. He probably is 60, but late 50s or something. Most of them were probably taking steroids, so let's just be realistic. I feel like nobody was that big. I even think Brock Lesnar was juicing a little bit because he doesn't look as ripped as he did earlier, like earlier in his wrestling career, where he would just pick up people like it's nothing. I'm talking where him and Big Show broke the ring. I feel like at that time he had to have just been on a little bit. Wasn't on a lot, but he was on for quite some time, and he was on steroids for quite some time. And he probably laid off of it, and you know he's the way he is now. He's still an animal. Don't get me wrong. He was bigger. He was more cut.
He's a little overrated.
Brock Lesnar?
Yeah, he's a little overrated. I mean, but you think Batista was taking some? I mean, Batista had to be taking some.
Yeah, I think he was taking some as well. He was big like Scott Steiner, in my
Yeah.
opinion. And his early during like the prime of his career, he was huge. And now you look at him now, about 2-3 years ago, when he came back and the whole evolution thing for him, I thought it was kind of cool. But when he came back, he didn't look as big as he was during like the prime. So he had to been juicing or something.
Yeah, I think he lost some weight.
Yeah, that too. That too.
Yeah. No. But Goldberg, I don't know how he's gonna look when he get back in the ring. You know.
He lost a lot of weight, actually, I heard.
Yeah.
He lost like 20 pounds.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so he's probably gonna get super built before the match he has with Brock Lesnar, and from there, of course he's gonna have the gray hair. He's gonna look, gray beard or whatever, because he's called age. But he's gonna look the same. Hopefully, he doesn't have as many botched moves as he had the first Brock Lesnar match against Brock Lesnar. I hope he still looks good. I know he's taking martial arts or jujitsu or something like that. But yeah, I hope he still does good in the ring. He was probably juicing as well. But yeah.
But Goldberg, he's probably gonna like retire at the end of the year.
Oh
Probably.
Well, until
he's
in the Hall of Fame. Until he's in the Hall of Fame, I just don't see him retiring just yet. Because usually when you're getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, that's an obvious sign that your wrestling career is pretty much up. Look at Sting. I feel like they did Sting incredibly wrong. I feel like Sting should have been used. He lost at WrestleMania. He lost at I think it was he came back to Survivor Series.
Yeah,
so he lost in another one. What are you saying?
That was at a point of time when I didn't watch wrestling. Cause I didn't watch it in August of 2014. Cause in my opinion, it was getting a little corny, But at the beginning of this year, I started watching it, and I'm that was before the women's revolution. They had the divas, so
yeah, I felt like that whole divas belt, in a way, it was kind of cheesy. I felt like the people who held it were cool. AJ, who else held it? Definitely Nikki Bella held it. But I feel like they were fine. It was just that point in wrestling where not many people. I feel like AJ was the one to bring that energy back into the women's wrestling, and then Four Horsewomen came back, and then what really started everything was the whole 2-minute Emma versus Nikki Bella match when Nikki Bella was the champion. I feel like that was what really started the women's revolution, and that's when the Four Horsewomen came and kept it going. And look at it now. We're gonna have the first women's Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, TLC is it's a Raw pay-per-view, right?
No.
Oh, it's a SmackDown.
I think it's a SmackDown pay-per-view.
Oh, well, maybe in the future we probably could see a TLC women's match. That would be crazy.
That'd be interesting. If they're having a Hell in a Cell match, I'm sure they're gonna go to the extent of having a TLC match. But the thing is, in a TLC match, you have weapons. So if they do have a women's TLC match, I'm really curious to see how they're gonna do things.
I mean, it's gonna be crazy if that happens. That would be a first time, I think. But this Hell in a Cell match that they're gonna have, Sasha Banks is gonna get the title back.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably just gonna be like shoving each other in the fence.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be any blood involved. Because I'm just gonna be honest with you. If they do have any blood involved, that would be cool. I'm not gonna lie to you, it'd be cool. But I feel like people will be like, okay, now you take it a little bit too far. They're gonna have to get used to it.
Yeah, like probably the feminine. I mean, the feminist is gonna like try to like get on WWE for these women putting their bodies on the line. Mm-hmm. If they have like a TLC or extreme match, they're probably gonna get on them.
Yeah, so I could agree with that.
Yeah.
It would be a little interesting though, because in the TLC match they have the belt hanging up on the on like the catwalk or whatever it's called, and it's hanging. The thing is, how are they planning on doing that match? Will it be as much hitting if they do have a TLC match for them?
Yeah.
Will they have like the the hitting involved? Will they have possibly? I don't know. I haven't seen blood in a TLC match in forever. I don't think there'll be any blood in the women's match. I feel like it's just gonna be a lot of hitting and low blows to the gut and stuff.
CZW do the same thing with women, but like
you see, CZW, though what WWE I think does is they try to preserve their health for the superstars. They try to keep them in there as long as possible. You see, CCW, give them like I don't know, half a year, and they're not even gonna be able to walk. I'm sure. Like it's difficult and it's hard on their body for CZW, and what Vince probably does is have those certain matches where it's gonna be difficult for them. They got matches where it's not, and like I said, CZW they go all out because they're not even on the same level as WWE. It's a small promotion compared to WWE, and they're gonna do whatever they can to try to beat them. So I feel like that's the desperateness, and that's the desperation in CCW.
And if you look at it, probably most of ZZW wrestlers take painkillers.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Hey guys, what you guys been talking about?
We've been talking about CCW. Obviously, we've been talking about with the women's. Oh, go ahead. I got you.
If the women's division go like hardcore or extreme, but like in my opinion, I don't think WWE would go that far because like as I told Mark, probably like the feminists is gonna like go on WWE and like talk bad about them, like try to talk bad about Triple H and Vince. So yeah.
Well, I'm sure they do that no matter what, so they don't really need a reason. Anybody, I don't know if you guys have seen on Facebook or whatever, the Moms Against WWE or whatever that thing is. And
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I saw it.
Wait, they have a page for Moms Against WWE?
Yeah, on Facebook. There's a group page. Just search it on Facebook when you're logged in. Just search Moms Against WWE.
Wait, so it's moms like going after WWE because like their kid is like they think their kid is watching too much drama.
Trust me, if Moms Against WWE was available when I was a kid, my mom would be part of it. So, well, both of my parents. But anyways, yeah, there's always groups like that. But you would think for feminists or just women in general, they want to be equal to men, right? They want to be able to do the same things, have the same things. Well, then if that's the case, then have more of those type of matches and maybe not go as far maybe as the males because of their limitations of what they would want to do, not just because they're women, but just for other reasons as well that they do. Specifically different, superstars, superstars, they don't want to go too far, but still want to blur the line and step into the boundary. Like glass ceiling, they always talk about. So, breaking the glass ceiling, and they definitely should be able to have. They should have a Royal Rumble. They should have Money in the Bank match. Good that they're starting here with Hell in a Cell. They should main event a pay-per-view. There's a lot of steps here for the women's revolution I still see happening. It's as they say, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So, change isn't going to happen like this, but it's going to happen. And I think for them, if they have more extreme matches, if they have TLC matches, if they start, knocking off this list, like I said, then it's really going to show me specifically as a WWE fan, part of the WWE universe, that that Vince McMahon, Triple H, and specifically the number one person being Stephanie McMahon, Levesque, being the change of the women's division of the women's roster. First step was getting rid of that stupid ass butterfly belt, getting rid of the
I hated that belt.
Diva name,
I hated that belt.
Women's title, calling them superstars. Knocking off those.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
that's fine.
I hate it when WWE calls their wrestlers superstars. Put some respect. Shouldn't they be called wrestlers? And shouldn't be I already know WWE is calling women's wrestlers. So put some respect.
No, I respect that 100%. But I think if Vince had his way, he would just have everybody just be called sports entertainers, even over wrestlers. So from that altercation with Stone Cold, and I saw Stone Cold was getting a little agitated with that, but because of him and his day, we call them wrestlers, not sports entertainers. But whatever, it is what it is. But point being, for the women, having that equality in that way, and the women and the Raw and SmackDown, obviously with the different colors of red and blue, but it looking like the men's WWE World Championship, and how that being equal in design and obviously different in size, but still design and all that overall stuff and different that equality in that way. Sasha Banks talking about how obviously things have changed from the way the women's were received, bra and panties matches and all the other craziness and objectification of their women's superstars at that point, and dawning in a new era. So I think if we slowly knock out those lists, like I said, with the first year in the Hell in a Cell for the women, and Money in the Bank and other things, the Royal Rumble maybe, and we're slowly get there. And then at some point we will have TLC match with the women's title on the line, or hardcore matches, and then just stuff like that. And then that will be in the future for the next generation the new normal.
Yeah.
And being you'll have trailblazers of that, being Sasha Banks, Charlotte, and others, and Stephanie McMahon, obviously championing it. But in a decade to come, it'll be the new normal. It'll be regular. It'll be not a headline story. It'll just be what it's supposed to be in the world of professional wrestling, specifically here in WWE.
Definitely, I agree completely.
Any other news items or things you guys were talking about?
Well, we were talking about. We went over CCW. We went over.
Paige.
We already talked about that.
Yeah.
But that was before he left. No, so I think that was pretty much it from when you had to go for a second.
Right. Hey, here's something I wanted to bring up that I want to talk about. Have either of you checked out Total Bellas?
Oh, I have the thing on record every week. I love that show.
Palmer?
Yeah, I don't watch it that much. I watched it yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't watch it that much.
The first episode I wasn't able to watch live. I did watch on demand because I have Charter Communications here locally, and so I watched the first episode, before the second one. It looked pretty interesting, is Cena being an ass and everything, but it was with this Mickey Bell having signed this stupid ass contract to live in the house, and
Yeah,
then
that was so
being all
dumb.
drill sergeant about it with Mama Bella and everything, and having to have this once a week, dress up dinners and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was
Everybody
like,
have to be dressed to the nines. So I mean, as much as I, am dissing it, I also respect it because it is his home.
yeah,
John Cena, he earned he earned the rights of that because A, like I said, A, that's his home. B, he earned that money, his time in WWE and being when is in WWE, still is in a way, maybe to a lesser degree, as he's slowly, uh, leaving or at some point leaving WWE. Um,
hmm
but I don't think I guess on that topic, I don't see him ever actually leaving WWE ever. He
hmm
might retire from the ring, but he'd still be part of WWE in some capacity. Um, for the rest of his career as a Hall of Famer and as a legend at that point. But yeah, John Cena there in the first episode doing that kind of reminding me of my time during basic training of being a drill sergeant. It's kind of, I was wondering if it's going to get to the point of having locker room inspections and the bedroom inspections every day or once a week. Who knows? I was wondering if it was going to get to that point. Of kind of having it in that kind of style. But hey, that's the way he wants to run his home. That's his prerogative. I think maybe it's taking it a little too far, but it is what it is for him. And then episode two, the major storyline, the major situation going on is a prenup between Johnny Ace, John and Laurinaitis, and that's another thing I was looking forward to with Total Bellas to see John Laurinaitis on TV, not on WWE TV. It's on E Network, but our WWE show. Total Bellas, awesome to see him as the new number one male there of the Bell
Johnny.
family. So that was the situation there and that thing. But I'm really enjoying it myself. I also
Yeah,
saw
I am
news
too.
on WrestleZone.com of viewership actually going up from episode 1 to 2. So
Really?
that's good. Hopefully that continues on as we move along. I mean, it helps to have Daniel Bryan being part of it. So um,
Yeah.
and going from there. But really good. What are your I guess thoughts on each episode or episodes overall, Mark, of the show so far?
Well, first episode. It was okay. I thought maybe it's because it was just the first time when you watching it. Um, I thought it was okay. I felt like the second episode was a little bit more entertaining in a way that it was some things you wouldn't expect to happen. From John Cena having the weekly dinners where you have to dress up and all that other stuff is just weird to me. That's just his prerogative. That's how he likes it. We can't change that. But the contract thing, like you were talking about, that was earlier. I don't even think that was in the show. That was from Total Divas, I think. Um, that was super strange for some reason. I don't know why she had to sign a contract to live in a house. Um, and then him being a jackass. He is just strange in a way. From episode 1 to 2, he's just been, I don't know, strict, I guess you could say. From him like having to have
Wait,
the
did he
weekly
try to?
dinners. What'd you say?
Did he try to like give the dog away on there?
Yeah, he tried to call the animal control center on what is the name? Josie dog. I think that's the dog's name.
Yeah,
But
Josie.
see, yeah, that was a little bit too much. I felt like maybe because he's never had a dog before. I'm assuming maybe he hasn't had a dog before. Uh, that he called or wanted to call the control center. I felt like that was a little bit too much. Um, but from episode 1 to 2, it keeps getting interesting as the show continues. I'm curious to see how the season will go, and I'm curious to see how they're going to do Total Battles and Total Divas, knowing that both Bella
Mm-hmm.
twins are in both shows. I wonder how that's going to turn out because it's kind of strange. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's terrible, and I don't think it's great. But I think it's interesting. I keep watching.
Palmer?
I haven't watched that much shows yet, but like I did see it yesterday. John, he's going way too far. I never knew he like thought like he more strict like off WWE camera, but yeah, like he's kind of weird in a way. Kind of strict and weird, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I can see with his actions are rubbing people the wrong way there of there in the first episode and his actions and everything. But like I said, I'm enjoying it. Looking forward to seeing how things go. I do agree there with Mark though, how things are going to go when we have Total Divas and Total Bellas, airing same network as well. It's just going to be overlapping of, well, not just of storylines, but of footage from one to the other being shown on each show. So you see footage part of Total Bellas that's going to be part of Total Divas too, that are just shared. Because it's just woven in together. However, they do that as well. So I don't know. It's certainly going to be interesting. Like I said, I'm enjoying it so far, and looking forward to next week's episode of Total Bellas and Daniel Bryan, and also the brother. I forget his name. JJ wanting to be in WWE and asking John for a favor. So that's kind of ballsy of him. But seeing how that unfolds as well. So I do enjoy shows like that. I mean, I have enjoyed Total Divas for the last couple of years.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Why not hear Total Bellas of its own excuse me, its own spinoff. I'm just looking here, seeing if there's any other news or stuff that I don't see really anything else that we haven't already talked about. At least on my end, or anything that's newsworthy. Anything on your ends?
If you guys play video games, 2K17. If you guys do have the game, I suggest you put it in the console as soon as possible. I know it's a very random topic, but I was just recently talking to Elena Nicole actually on Twitter. She actually kind of replied to one of her tweets because I find it kind of funny because me and her have the same console. And she said it took her 29 hours to actually download the game.
Oh my God.
So, if you guys do have 2K17, I suggest you download it right after this podcast. And if you guys are watching this podcast, I suggest you download it right now onto your console. I'm going to do that when I'm done. So I will have live streams coming over this weekend probably. And yeah, just go ahead and download it now, please.
Steve, I will be back.
Yep.
I would be back. I gotta check something. It takes about a minute.
All right, go ahead, Wilmer. Hey, Mark. Hey, maybe the next time you are able to talk to Elena Nicole on Twitter, maybe let her know the show. It'd be awesome to have her here on the podcast. I mean, would be awesome, and that's why also I'm saying it here live on air, to let her and her followers know. Maybe let her know. And people are all welcome to follow her on Twitter, Elena Nicole, ELENANIC0LE, on Twitter. I'll follow her on Twitter, maybe let her know, because it would be great to have her. Obviously, we have Raunchy Mikey, and maybe even the others that are part of the Elena's Raw After Party. I think Heel Steven, so a fellow Steven, it would be awesome to have him too. Heel Steven.
So isn't it OK Fabe too?
OK Fabe, he left because he had to stop doing it, so it went over to Elena's channel because Elena was part of his, along with the other two people. Okay. Dory and Heel Steven. So those three moved over there, and then Michael won the contest against me to be the fourth participant there. So it'd be awesome to have her here. So Mark and others are welcome to get her on Twitter to let her know. Whether she's interested or not, that's up to her. That's her prerogative. But the invitation is always there for her and anybody else that wishes to join. I mean, I know Palmer reached out to us to wanting to join an episode, and he's here today. So we listen. And if there are others that want to be part of the show in any episode, just reach out to either of us at LooneyTunes163 and at WWE_podcast, and we'll let each other know, and we'll go from there. There on the Twitter. So
I'm gonna spam Elena.
There you go. That's how you do.
Is there any questions in the chat?
Okay.
Is there any questions in the chat?
Well, I do not have the chat up anymore. I don't think there was. There was a couple of viewers, but right now, I guess maybe because of the time, there are no. Well, no, I see now it popped up with 2 viewers, but I didn't see anything on the chat a couple minutes ago when I checked. So it's all right. Not everybody is wanting to interact with people. I mean, I get it with talking WWJ as well. So people just want to watch, then even chat, which is fine. I think those that are watching live and appreciate all that watch my archive, welcome to like, share, and subscribe. Of course, subscribe to Mark Ramble's channel as well. So, but like I said, it would be totally awesome, reek of awesomeness, to have Elaine, Nicole, and the other group, the team there over at Raw After Party.
I'm definitely gonna spam her.
So, but we'll see when that happens. Because hey, think about it. This is Google Hangouts. This is now Hangouts through YouTube Live. I can have 10 total people here if I wanted to, and have this a full house. Which, by the way, for those that care, Fuller House coming back December 9th, Netflix. So, but anyways, I can have a full house here on the Hangouts, and we can have all of them. Lena Heel, Steven, Dory, Mikey, Palmer, J. Simmons, Rambo.
That would be.
We could have
great.
Have tenfold for a Survivor Series prediction episode. So if you're gonna spam her or just tweet her at all, if you're gonna tweet her at all, let her know the invitation is for any episode. But if you had to pick one, if she only is wanting to do one, shoot for a Survivor Series prediction episode, because it is a big show for one, for that too. So her and her team are welcome for that. So beyond any episode, if she is only available for one, Survivor Series prediction would be the place to go. Because like I said, you can have a full house any episode, 10 total people, getting everybody's opinion. I mean, that can be stacked, that can be lit for sure, and it can be a show that helps all our channels, not just my own, but everybody else involved as well. So definitely maybe a way to go moving forward.
I actually know a couple people. I have about 3 people who honestly, 3 more people from people I just happen to know. Some people from my channel who actually want to join this podcast. For example, one being Palmer. There's a couple other subscribers. One is a little older than me, I do believe, and there's a couple who are on the same age. We huge wrestling fans. They're interested in joining this podcast. I'm trying to see if they can do it before Survivor Series, knowing that you wanted to do the review. So if they are available, I'm gonna see if maybe I'll send them the link through Twitter. So that'll be extra. If Palmer's here, you be possibly Mikey. That's about 6, 7.
So if you have 6 there, and then you add Elena, Nicole, Dory, and Heel Steven, you can get to 9, and you just would need one more.
7 people in a podcast? Wow.
Well, you can, like I said, you can have up to 10 in the Hangout.
Yeah, that would be interesting. So
hey, you know me, I like double digits, so it'd be nice to have it in double digits.
Yeah, that would be amazing if we could have that.
Now, what would have to happen, and I am going to say this here live on air, for everybody to know, if that does happen and we do have tenfold, and that'd be awesome, and in my head I really want that to happen, but I'm going to actually have to be, put my foot down a little bit as a host, and Mark is the co-host, in muting people, making sure people aren't speaking over top each other, giving each person their respect and their time to talk about a topic or a match or whatever, because we know everybody wants to get their thoughts in. We respect that, but we also have to respect the person speaking as well to finish their thought. Then, if they want to butt in, then they can butt in, chime in. Moving on. So if that does happen, I just want to let Elena and everybody else know that might be joining on that might have to exert some power a little bit in that way, some authority, be all Triple H about it, and authority, and actually have to, at least a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to be too hard. I'm not going to be a hard ass. I mean, I am a respectful person, and I like to hear everybody's opinion, but there is a time and a place. Still have to be professional, respectful, and I know those guys over there at Alina's after party are respectful, and I would never ask them to be different from themselves. So if they have a little bit extra energy, or whoever it's come out or whatever, it's not a end of the world thing, but I'm not changing them in that way, but just at least still being the respectful people that I know they are. I've talked to them each individually in the past on Twitter, not too much, but at least little interactions with them on Twitter as well. So definitely, it's a great idea, and for fans of my channel that are watching live or watching archived, definitely look forward to that, because that could be happening, whether before Survivor Series or for the Survivor Series prediction show here on this channel, because I have big things, me and Mark wanting big things for this channel, big things for this podcast, and because we want that subscriber count to go up, not just for the numbers, but for the interaction with people, because that's, debates are always good, whether you disagree or strongly agree, either way makes for a perfect debate, respectful debate, and more the merrier, whether here in the Hangouts or people that are watching live that aren't able to make it in the Hangouts, because I hope to get at one point, maybe that we have so many people on here that people wanting to get in that can't get into the Hangout because there's, it's an access, and I actually have to let people go because others want to come on to give opinions. So, if it gets to that point, but because I am that's where I try to separate myself from other podcasters, other live viewing podcasters, where I'm not saying others don't, but I'm just saying in my way, where I give everybody a voice, and if they want to be on the show, they get to be on the show, and then it's up to them when they are on the show, and how they do, and if you keep them or not, or if how long they stay, this other stuff. Which, so I'm always giving people shots. It's up to them to take the ball and run with it, I guess, so to speak. But we'll see what Elena says. We'll see what the other people say in response to Mark, and I'll hear from him later on in the week or here in the month heading into Survivor Series. So I'm excited how things are going and where things could be going. Are there any, as we get back to business here, are there any other things? It seems like we're kind of ending it here for the night, but if there are any other topics you do want to bring up to the table here, it is Wrestling Ramble. So anything you want to bring up to the table that you want to speak of that has anything to do with pro wrestling, more than welcome to bring it to the table. Mark?
No, I think I'm on a lot of questions. I think I'm questionless right now.
That's fine. Yeah, I just wanted to see if there's any last juices of things you wanted to bring to the forefront. I don't want to miss anything either.
Anything you got, Palmer?
Yeah, I'm trying to search for one.
That's all right. Episodes have to end at some point.
All right. Do you think if WWE buys TNA, do you think it's going to be become a show like they did with ECW? You think it's going to come on Wednesdays?
Who's the head shake for, Steve?
No, sir. No, I don't. Not at all. I don't. If it's WWE buys TNA, I see it going under them just buying out the company, shutting it down.
Yeah.
Always for business, and they just take. Maybe they plug a couple of superstars, get the contract, but I don't see the TNA becoming a show. What it's going to become is another tab, another thing on the WWE network, which will be labeled TNA, of shows, pay-per-views, and everything, and articles, obviously, on WWE.com, but I don't see TNA being a different brand, like a third brand like they try to do with ECW, and you see how great they did with that. So, but just hopefully if they, WWE, if this is how it's going to go, if, thinking of the way I'm hoping it to go, WWE buying TNA entirely, not just the video library, that they just close down shop and go from there. But hopefully not, because if they do try to do something like that, it's just be watered down. It's just going to be worse. Might even be worse than TNA has been in the last couple of months anyway. So why do something like that and just be I don't know, would be kind of lazy and dumb to me. So if WWE's gonna buy it, just take it over and go from there, and the company have all the memory for TNA fans. Have the TNA as a, what are they called? What are they called? The TNA soldiers to come over to WWE and watch their TNA their nostalgic moments and pay-per-views on the WWE network, which helps Vince McMahon WWE in that way get new subscribers. That way, getting the TNA fans. Not all of them will come, but the ones that come will enjoy. Yes, Palmer.
And TNA had some great matches, you know.
No, for sure.
I admit, but one of the greatest matches I believe was AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe versus Christopher Daniels for the X Division title. You know,
Hmm.
that was one good match. So
I think for me the greatest match of TNA was Samoa Joe versus Kurt Angle.
Oh. Ooh.
yeah.
I think one of my favorite matches. I can't remember who was in it. I just remember my favorite wrestler at the time, which was Suicide. I think that was his name.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
TJ Perkins.
Suicide was whew, that dude was wild on TNA. I mean, that guy really caught my eye, and I remember he did something I couldn't remember. I can't think of it right now. It was something like something
Oh, did he
unfreaking
jump off the
believable.
stage or something like that?
I think it was in the ring. I think it was like it was like ropes or something on the top of the ring. I can't think of it. It was sheesh. I can't think of it.
Wait,
Damn. I can't think of
was it
the match name.
was it a finisher?
No, it was a type of match, and he did something where it was
Yeah.
he did a move on like the top rope, but over top of the ring were a whole bunch of ropes or whatever, and you had to climb or crawl your way on to get the belt or something. I don't know what it was
Oh
called.
yeah.
Oh, I
Like
think I know
I
what
know
you're talking
what
about.
you're talking about. Like that was when like TNA. It was called like it was their version of Money in the Bank, something like that.
It was something like that. It looked really familiar.
But then like it wouldn't be like it would it wouldn't be hanging off like the thing that WWE has. Like it would be
Yeah,
hanging off the ropes.
yeah,
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what's that. I think I know what you're talking about there.
yeah.
But
That whole scene really caught me. From there, I was just like, this dude is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I remember like everybody want him to fight Rey Mysterio. Like I remember that.
hmm. Well, with that, I think we're going to call it a night here for Steve's Wrestling Ramble. And as everybody that watched live or watching archive, you can definitely see that there's a reason why Ramble is in the name. We can talk about anything, go anywhere. That's the best part of it, and everybody getting their thoughts in. So before we go, let's let everybody give their shameful or shameless plugs out of the way. Let's first start with our guest for this evening, Palmer J. Simmons.
I'm gonna come back probably like it's gotta be like a week when I don't have school, cause
Mm-hmm.
like I'm be busy all the time. It's probably gonna be like November, Thanksgiving week. Will you be podcasting then?
No, we'll see. Like I said, I know I'm going to be doing one before Survivor Series, which I know is right before before Thanksgiving week. So I know for sure I'll be there doing that.
Yeah, I. But this was a good podcast. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully I come back.
Yeah, it'd be great to have you back. Where can people find you on Twitter or here on YouTube, Palmer?
Follow me on Twitter. Follow me, Yeezy Junior 100. You know, Yeezy's my favorite shoes. And like, follow me on Instagram, Wild and Savage Kid 100. So like WILDN. So Like subscribe. I will be doing reactions next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Subscribe to his channel. J Simmons, SIMONS.
I'll be doing live reactions. So.
Cool. All right, Mark. Where can people find you and your interview? Mark.
You lost him?
I think so. I think his looks like his video there is frozen for a moment. I'm waiting until he comes back so we can promote his stuff. Before he does, I guess I'll promote my stuff here. Welcome to follow me on Twitter at WWE_podcast. I was subscribed to this channel if you wish to go to all the other channels. Find me on Instagram at podcast host 316, podcast host 316. And check me out there as well. Next video I will be doing early next week with Talking Packers with Steve, my NFL podcast. Also, MTV Scream is coming back on Tuesday of next week with its Halloween special, 2-hour special for that show, MTV Scream. So I'll be doing a review with Jay of Talking WJ after that episode does air. I'm just checking here, seeing if Mark is back. I don't know if things froze. Oh, it looks like he has to try to come back on. We'll wait till he comes back on, and then we'll let him say goodbye. And as we wait, I guess I'll just... for those that are wondering, this is a Race for the Cure t-shirt I have. It is October Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I want to wear this today. And this for today's episode in honor of that. I respect that to all those breast cancer survivors and the things to survive. They're always in my thoughts and prayers. Forever, and I have family members that survived breast cancer myself. So I know it feels. I respect y'all for sure. Let's see here.
He probably restarted it.
Yeah, I don't know if he's restarting it or if he's just leaving for good. I have to find out here.
There you go.
Hey, Mark, you there?
Yes, I'm there. Is the craziest thing just happened? It was not on purpose. So
Your Wi-Fi.
No, it was just like everything just shut off, like everything. So I'm using my phone right now, so that's why
it just automatically shut off randomly.
Yeah, it just automatically shut off randomly. I had my computer on.
Dang.
And everything just shut off.
It
must have been like a plug circuit thing. I don't know.
It could be because I know it had happened to me once. Thank goodness it wasn't in the middle of a show, but it happened to me once before when I was just on internet during the day. So I know how it feels. But anyways, we'll get to you, your plugs and promotions where people can find you, Twitter, Instagram, and otherwise.
Well, you could find me on Instagram at Mark_Ramble39. My Twitter handle is Looney Tunes 163. And from there, if you guys have any reaction requests, it doesn't even have to be WWE. It could be anything. It could be trailer reactions. It could be, I don't know, funny viral video. It could be anything. I'm just trying to interact with you guys. I feel like you guys are the reason my channel is growing. You technically are the reason why my channel is growing. You know, being on this podcast, interacting with other people. You know, Palmer, you know, he's been a subscriber of mine since I was around.
Since the Dudley Boys reaction.
Yeah, that was around like 180. I think it was like 180 subscribers. You know, and that's 10 times as more than 10 times less I have now. And he's been watching me ever since. You know, I'm a cool guy. I'm a really chill guy, and I'm just here to interact with people. And if you guys want me to interact with you guys, just hit me up on my social media, and from there, anything goes.
All right, awesome. Yeah, like I said, follow him, subscribe to his channel, Ramble TV, subscribe to Palmer G. Simmons on his YouTube channel, and follow him on Twitter. I'll be back. We'll be back next week, or me and Mark Elise will be back next week for Steve's Wrestling Ramble. We have Palmer, I guess, on the show in the near future, and hopefully we'll be able to have a mega show, either before Survivor Series or at the Survivor Series prediction, including Helena, others from that show, and otherwise. So we'll see how that goes. But everybody stay safe, have fun, have a great weekend, and as always,
Stay safe, everybody.
peace.